Morning campers, how you all doing? It's been a while for me, apologise for that, but Mrs W's not been well. But here I am, out on a wild camp in my permission wood, and I'm in the hammock and the one Tigress Tegument tent, and oh, that was a good night's sleep. I didn't film last night, just took the pictures of the meal, which I'll probably flash up. But yeah, my hammock is so comfortable, much better than my own bed, to be fair. I slept like a baby last night. Only had to get up to drain the tank, as it were. But just out here for our monthly social gathering, so I'll not be doing much filming, but I'll probably show you around the tent and the hammock and whatnot, and we'll see what happens. But these weekends are more about the social gathering, so I don't like filming, and obviously I don't want to disclose the location at the request of the landowner. So here we go. It's almost late February. I can't believe the weather. The sun's out. Got a bit of cloud. There's a bit of a storm system going through, which went through yesterday afternoon. But it's I think the current temperature is probably around 7 degrees, which is probably going to top out around 10 degrees today. But there we go. So for February, we got really lucky. The wood's in good condition. It's not too boggy around the social area, so yeah, looking forward to a good crack later on. So thanks for all the new subs, and thanks for staying with me. Only got about 12 more subs left to go to reach the magic 1000. So if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please do so. It doesn't cost you anything, and it just helps me and gives me a bit of support, a bit of encouragement to keep making videos. Alright, I'll stop waffling now. We'll see how we go. Cheers then. Right, so the first order of the day, get a brew. And by a brew, there's only one cup that you need to have a brew in, and that is the British Army Osprey mug. Guaranteed to sort you out first thing in the morning. New toy. Mr. Mesner, you've got a lot to answer for. Took a while, but we got there in the end. Morning. Hear the birds, the buzzard. Right, you may be wondering why I look like I've just stepped off an exercise from an infantry battalion. Well, I do have history, as some of you that know me well will know. But the fact of the matter is that these clothes are extremely good at protecting you in these kind of conditions, and they're fairly cheap. So this thing, I think I paid £25 for it, and it was like grade, well, it was listed as grade 1, it was nearly new. It's so good at keeping you warm. I mean, all I've got underneath this is my usual winter base layer mix of I think this is a Freedom Trail technical t-shirt and a mountain equipment thermal long sleeve. No, not mountain equipment, mountain warehouse, that's it, mountain warehouse. And obviously this pair of windproof trousers, and the ECW boots, which came in really useful on my trip up to Derwent, the upper Derwent Valley and that camp, because the boots are insulated, they're waterproof, and they kept my feet, and more importantly my ankles, really well protected. So yeah, that's why I you know, I've got the green skin back on again, because it's cheap and easily replaceable. You know, you can pick this stuff up on the internet for next to nothing, and most of the time it's like almost brand new. You get the grade 1 stuff, and if you get the super grade stuff, then literally you're going to get something that's in a polythene bag with a NATO stock number on it. It's that good. You know, I think these boots may have been issued, but there wasn't a mark on them when I got them, and they were listed as grade 1. 65 quid. I've got a pair of boots that would easily cost me around 200 to buy, you know, from a shop. You know, you're looking at not fully stiffened, but a semi-stiffened sole, a winter rand, decent, you know, a decent sole unit, Gore-Tex and thin-silk lined. I mean, you're going to pay some serious money for stuff like that. But 65 quid, you know, I'm a Yorkshireman. I can't be paying £200 for a pair of boots, but I know I have done in the past, but not anymore. Alright, enough of me waffling about what I'm wearing. You know why I'm wearing it. It's time for another slurp of tea. Yeah, so what I was saying earlier about the storm going through overnight, the wind is talking to the camera. I'll have to edit that bit out, won't I? Yeah, so what I was talking about earlier about the storm rattling through last night, we've still got quite a bit of wind. You might have been able to see the clouds moving through the trees, but where we are, we're in the lee of the ridge. There's a ridge back there, and the wind sort of comes over that way, and generally we don't get to feel it down here. And at the minute, touch wood, it's blowing in the right direction because the smoke's going away from me, so all is good. I need to start thinking about cooking some breakfast. I've already had my yoghurt. my anti-cholesterol yogurt. That allows me to eat things like bacon and sausage and all the stuff that's nice. Because fat means flavour. I'm sure there's another YouTube channel that has that catchphrase. Sam the cooking guy. Check him out. He's got some really good recipes and he loves his food. So yeah, just sat here taking the morning in, waiting for the body to signal the trip to the Thunderbox, which is going to be inevitable at some point in the next hour or so, and then we'll see what happens next. Right, so one of us is having scrambled eggs and one of us is having all day breakfast with fried eggs, and my fried eggs haven't gone on yet, so there you go. You can't beat campfire cooking. Okay, top tip on how to cook your eggs on top. Just get a little pan or a lid or something and just put them over put it over like that, and the heat helps cook the top of the yolk, still maintaining a runny centre. Right guys, back again, filming on the GoPro this time. Just thought I'd show you the ridgeline that I've been using for what seems like a long time now, and I'm going to change it for something new. So let's go through the ridgeline that I'm using at the moment. Okay, so what you've got at the minute is you've got this ridgeline, just standard cheap paracord. At the end of it I've got a loop, and then onto that paracord I've got another paracord, but this is a prusik loop, and on the end of that there's a toggle, which is a duffel coat button. And all I do is I put the toggle through the loop, and then I cinch the prusik loop down until it's tight, and that allows me then to run to the other end. So in order to secure my tarp, or in this case my tent, I've got some 2mm or 2.5mm bear cub cord, and it's probably about a 4-inch loop of that, and it's on a prusik, and then the tarp itself has got a couple of S-beaners in the middle. And if we walk round, you can see at this end we've got another prusik loop and the tent secured. So my tension device at the moment is one of these loop aliens. Let's just see if I can, yeah, one of these loop aliens, and that's secured on a bit of a slip knot with a toggle. This is just all the slack, and that's secured around the tree. So that's me. Well, that's the existing ridgeline. Well, let's quickly look inside the tent at the moment. This is my 4th outing in the Tegumen. I think I've got it almost set up right. I mean, the ground's not perfect, so it's a bit hit and miss, but as you can see, I've got the Easy Hammock Classic, which is their uninsulated camping hammock. I've got the One Wind 0 degree under blanket, and inside here I've got the One Tigris under quilt, my softy suit, and a few other bits and pieces, the down booties, the snug pack hat. But this is just a nice little feature that the hammock comes with. You've got a ridgeline organizer, and these are just my my night light and my earplug case. And for suspension, I'm using whoopee slings by Hammocks. Had these hooks put on when they were manufactured by custom request. Then you've got the cinch buckle loop, and then just some standard 6-foot tree straps. I'm really happy with that suspension method. It seems to be working really well. It's quite quick to put up and quite easy to dial in. Okay, this is just a quick shot of the adjustability at the end of the one wind. So what you have is you've got 3 lines. You've got one at each side of the hammock, and then you've got one in the centre to support the structure of it, and then you've got these 2 at the sides which allow you to draw the ends in so that you don't get a massive gap just here. And obviously once you're in it, it's going to pull down like that and seal the gap. So yeah, it's a really well thought out piece of kit, this one. And I must admit, from last night, some hanging loops here, press studs on the there we go. Press studs on the side. These are to fit the inner blanket that you can also attach to this to give you even more warmth. Something I might consider getting in the future. And again, at the other end, you've got the lines there. Let's bring that one up a touch to seal the end. Yeah, it's really warm. A bit on the bulky side, but that's what you get with the synthetic insulation, unfortunately. But I'd sooner have synthetic insulation than down, because down can trigger me allergies if it's not good down and it's dirty. And down doesn't tend to be that warm when it's wet, and Britain is a very wet place in the winter, so yeah, most of my insulation is synthetic. Okay, we'll leave it there. Okay, a bit of a tip for all you new guys, new to hammock hanging. What I've done here is, you see the tail of the whoopee sling comes down, and normally you could leave that hanging, and that would act like a drip line on its own. But what I've got here is any water coming past that point is going to make it to this knot here. The carabiner will act as a brake anyway, but this is just like belt and braces for me. It's the sort of like the last point in the chain where I can stick a drip line. So that's what I've done. I've just tied a bit of a slip knot, and that's a drip line. Hopefully then I won't have any water coming down onto my hammock should the water start running in heavy rain. Even if you don't skim it all, just skim it. Well, welcome back everybody. Michael, I'm talking to the camera now. I keep doing bits to camera and he's like, eh, what? Right, okay, so we've had a great day in the wood today. Had quite a few day visitors, and seen some of the guys that we've not seen for a while, and caught up, done the old banter bit, and we've had the trade blanket, so inevitably I've acquired more tat to add to my collection. No, seriously, I've got some pretty good bits of kit. I've got myself what was it, a Kelly kettle. I've been after one of those for a while, an MSR gas stove, which is very much like the Wispy Light that I've got, but obviously it's a gas stove, not a wet fuel stove, and a rat pack. Not quite sure of the menu, but it's one of the new ones in the poly bag, which is the first of that kind for me. Everything I've had up to now has been in a cardboard box, so that'll be interesting to see what's in there. And really, it's just been a case of chilling around and just enjoying time in the wood, decompressing. It's amazing how much just being in the wood, sat around the fire, apologies, does for your well-being and your psyche. It's really relaxing. Obviously, a bit of banter with your friends is always welcome as well. I mean, we keep in touch on the messenger and such, but there's nothing like seeing each other face to face and sharing a bit of food or a drink or whatever. So, come towards the end of the Saturday now, the light's just starting to fade. The last of the day visitors have just left, and it's just me and Michael left to sit around the fire, have a warm drink, and think about cooking the evening meal, which will probably be done in darkness, which I don't think I'll be doing any filming. Unfortunately, the weather isn't great. It's turned a little bit colder, and every so often we get a rain shower coming through. It's drizzling now at the minute, so it's taking the edge off it a little bit. Still enjoyable, still great being out here, but obviously if you're getting wet, it's not great. And we may have to retire to the shelter of my my hammock tent to spend the rest of the night. Well, not the rest of the night, but you know, just to stay in there until it's time for us both to retire. Mike back to his hammock setup and me back to mine. So there we go. So it's been a great day all round, really. And near the birds, still active, quite active. There's been quite a lot of them today. We think they're either finches or blue tits or something like that, but there was quite a big flock of them circling around the trees. The buzzard has disappeared somewhere. I don't know where it's gone, but we've not heard it for a bit. No doubt we'll hear it in the morning. We'll hear the owls shortly, because there's lots of owls in this wood. Obviously you won't be able to see them because it'll be dark soon. Okay, that's enough for me. If I don't talk to you again, thanks for watching. I'll try and splice some B-roll in so that there's something at least a little bit interesting to see. Okay, have a good day. Might speak to you in the morning. Minted lamb on the griddle. Hey gang, right, I'm back in my shelter. It's the end of Saturday now. Not quite 10 PM, but we decided to retire early because the wind had picked up, and although the fire was still burning, it was starting to get cold, and the wind was basically blowing the heat from the fire away from us. So basically we're back in the shelters. Mike's in his basher. I'm in my Tegiman hot tent, although it's not really cold enough to be to crack the stove, and I've been and put it back down in the car. It's probably about 7 or 8 degrees at the minute. That's centigrade, not Fahrenheit. But having had that stove in this tent, it needs to be really cold in order to get the benefit of it. You certainly can't sit in here with the heater on, with the door shut. because it's just too hot. So on a night like tonight where it's not that cold, then you know there's no point doing it, because I'd just be sat here in my underpants, and you won't want to see that. So what am I in tonight? Well, as usual, don't know whether you can see it, probably not. This thing, it's the Easy Hammocks Classic, which is their uninsulated hammock, and I've got the One Wind 40 degree, that's Fahrenheit, yeah, it's the 40 degree under blanket, which I bought before I got the Easy Hammock. So rather than buy a hammock with insulation already attached, I just got their standard hammock. My thinking was that I already have 2 under blankets. I've got the Snug Pipe one, which is good down to probably about, I don't know, 8 or 9 degrees C, and I've had this one down to about 5, without any additional insulation like my softy suit or anything like that. So so yeah, it's a good system. I've used it several times now, and I've never been cold in it, as long as I remember to put something else on my feet, because it's my feet that always get cold first. Right, so what else can I say? Had a good meal, minted lamb and bowl and squeak mashed potatoes. You may have seen the pictures already, but yeah, really enjoyable. Not had much to drink tonight. I've just got the 1 can on the go, just as a bit of a nightcap, and just a can of Old Speckled Hen if you're interested. But it's certainly not had a skinful by any stretch of the imagination. I just haven't felt like it. And that's it really. Nothing further to report. Let's get myself a bit more illuminated. So just trying to get myself ready now for bed. I'll be just be paying a visit outside shortly, and then I'll be crawling inside the hammock. Oh, one other thing, inside the hammock is the one Tigris top quilt. I find that with this under blanket and the top quilt, like I say, in my normal woodland clothes for this time of year, i.e. base layer and a fleece jumper, I'm normally good to probably about 5 degrees. It's going to be, weather forecast for tonight is 6 degrees, so I think there's 1 degree of leeway there. But I should be warm enough. I was plenty warm enough last night. I keep this hat on. I've got this this buff, which I can pull up over my face if I need to, but generally I don't need to do that. And I've got me Rab bivvy boots, which I wore for the first time. These things, I wore those for the first time last night, and they were really warm. At least as warm as my my Nature Hike down booties that I got. So that's another good thing. They're a little bit more robust for being in the wood than the down booties, so that's why I got them. And they're synthetic, because this place is damp when it's bone dry. So there you go. Anyway, enough of me waffling. We'll more likely than not see you in the morning at some point. Okay. Keep watching and appreciate the views. I really do. And I'll see you in the morning. Morning. Bit of a chilly one. I think I pushed the limits of my sleep system last night. I was cold about 6 o'clock this morning, which is when the weather forecast said it was going to be the coldest, and it said it was going to be 6 degrees. And I woke up about 6, and I could just feel the cold around my bum and starting to get to my feet. So now I know. But I wasn't so cold as I need to get out and put the softy suit on. And now I'm up. You've just seen the sunrise. Good sleep. Really good sleep. Went to bed early. I was in the hammock for 25 to 11. That's early for me. And just had to get up for a whiz about 12, and then slept through till 6, and then just been wriggling around, adjusting the under blanket, not the under blanket, the top quilt, just to stay warm since. So now the kettle's on, and now begins the hard bit, dragging everything back to the car. Yeah, it's let me just get away from the kettle. Can you hear the morning chorus? Or dawn chorus, or whatever you want to call it. The birds are tweeting. Yeah, lovely. Done me a world of good to be out here. The last camp was before December, and that was, oh God, here we go. That was a wild camp, a solo wild camp at the top of the Upper Derwent Valley. And I didn't get out last month, obviously, because Jackie was really poorly in January. Yeah, she had me worried for a bit, but luckily she's all right now, and I'm here. So there you go. That's life for you. Always finds a way of stopping up your plans. Rightio. Right. Well, I need to go back to the tent, drag some more stuff across to the table. So I'll leave you there for now. Good morning. It is a good morning. Yeah, the sun's just broken over the cloud. Wow, lovely morning. Hello, Mr. Sun. Right, luckily enough, this is my last brew, unless I rely on Michael, because with its last breath, the fuel bottle's empty. I just managed to get a brew on, get a boil. How's about that? So now I know how many brews I can get out of the thing. Nice one. Can you hear that? Morning bird song. Wow. I know I heard it a little bit yesterday, but crikey, this morning they're really going for it. I think it's because the sun's out. There's hardly a cloud in the sky. And then some vehicle comes and spoils it. What's the number one rule of wild camping? You leave no trace. Right, that's it. The end of another successful wild camping, hammock camping weekend here in the wood. Cracking time as always. Reasonable weather. And a little bit of exercise up and down this lane, ferrying gear. Okay, hope you've enjoyed that. I'll try and keep at least one video a month coming through if I'm able to get out. So till then, I'll bid you goodbye. Stay safe. Stay safe and leave no trace. Carry on, campers.